This time, with a good friend, Julian. He's he's what you call an expert in the field of knowledge of all things Call of Duty. We're here to talk about Black Ops because of the upcoming game Cold War, Black Ops Cold War. So, just off the bat, we'll get right to it. We'll start off with a campaign, and we'll start with where it begins. Now, this is interesting. I hear it actually, I don't hear. I found out through playing with you that it actually takes place in the start of World at War.
Yes, that's absolutely right, Chris. Special point for you people. We did the co-op campaign. Go ahead and be sure to check that out on NPCs that play. But yeah, many people believe that this story actually began in Black Ops One, but apparently that I found out myself that that wasn't really the case based off the character plot. So where it really starts off is in Call of Duty World at War, developed by Activision and Treyarch in I believe it was 2006. And
Should we be warning them for spoilers?
yes, uh, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, massive spoiler if you have not played these games. Although I'm pretty sure most of you have already.
You got your warning. All right. You haven't escaped in like five, four, three, two. What? All right. You're too late. Go ahead.
Okay, as I was saying, um, based off the character plot, it actually starts off in World at War in 2007. You're fighting in the Soviet campaign side as a player called Dmitry Petrenko. And alongside him, you're fighting with Viktor Reznov, who is actually the one of the protagonists in the Black Ops story. Um, we'll go. The World at War campaign is very simplistic. Of course, you just fight your way um, from Russia all the way to Germany to defeat the German war machine and claim victory for the Soviets. Um, and that's what you do as Petrenko. Now, um, skip ahead several months, also taking place in 1945. There is a specific mission in Black Ops 1 called Project Nova, which is the where it actually starts in the premise of how like how these villains were formed and whatnot. So how in World at War you were fighting as Petrenko and with Reznov. Right now, those tables have turned. You're fighting as Reznov and fighting with Petrenko. Um, and your task is that you're under the command of Dragovich and Kravchenko, who are the two main villains of Black Ops. And your mission is to capture a German scientist by the name of Frederick Steiner, who is also another villain in this in the Black Ops series as well.
And that's in the first Black
Yes,
Ops.
the first Black Ops.
Okay.
Now,
Is there anything else we should know about World at War?
not necessarily, no. As long as you know the characters, you're gonna understand the Black Ops story very, very well.
Okay. Okay. So now we're moving on to the first Black Ops.
Exactly. So,
I
as
hear
I
a lot of people call it Black Ops One when its real name is Black Ops, right? I fall for that all the time. So guilty as charged.
exactly.
It's, you got that. You got it right though.
uh, okay, so as I was saying, you're playing as Reznov, and you're fighting under the command of Dragovich and Kravchenko. Your orders are to capture a German scientist named Steiner, who has surrendered to you to give you his research for the benefit of the Soviet Union. So you still have to fight your way through the German regime, those who don't want to surrender. And um, when you find this German scientist, he accepts you accept his terms, and he takes you to an abandoned cargo ship in the outskirts of the Arctic Circle. Um, excuse me. So, your orders are to search the ship for a specific biochemical weapon called Nova 6. This weapon was specifically designed by Germany to it's a poison gas per se. So if you inhale it,
Not pleasant.
no, it's not. So basically, it gives you massive burns. You go blind, and you vomit, and you literally die within seconds. Um,
Yes,
so
definitely not pleasant.
when you go ahead and search through the ship, you find the biochemical weapons with your commanding officers and Steiner. Now there is a big twist again. Spoiler alert. um,
We're still in spoil. The whole. We'll let you know when it's not spoiler territory.
Thank you. I don't want to have to constantly say spoiler alert. But anyway, there is a big twist to this specific mission in Black Ops. Um, you think that you've claimed victory for Russia again. That is not the case. You are actually betrayed by your commanding officers, Dragovich and Kravchenko, who are actually working with Steiner, and you and your team are placed as test subjects for the weapon so that Russia can use it on their enemies.
Damn.
So you are placed in a cell with two other men, and Dmitry Petrenko, the second protagonist character, the character you played as in World at War, is placed in another cell, and Petrenko is the first to die. So technically, the story that you built in World at War, you are seeing it die before your very eyes. So technically, you're watching yourself die.
What a way to go. Damn. So from there, um, I tell you, do you play any more as the Russians from there?
No, well, because this mission is actually the halfway mark. I'm going on chronological order.
Okay.
So, um, after that, all you eventually escape, and you have to destroy the ship. But apparently, everything goes well, but you are captured as Reznov. You are captured and sent to a prison camp called Vorkuta. And then throughout the story, you are playing as a primary character named Alex Mason for the entire Black Ops series. And he and Reznov share a unusual bond. So,
Unusual is to put it lightly.
yeah, it's to put it lightly. Um, so, throughout the Black Ops series, aside from the halfway mark that I've mentioned with Reznov, you're playing as Mason alongside Frank Woods and Bowman, the other two protagonists, and as well as CIA operative Jason Hudson, who you will also play as to develop through the story. But as Alex Mason, you are sent on your very first mission to the Bay of Pigs invasion in 1960s to kill Castro. Um, apparently, that doesn't go well because you got trolled and you killed a double instead.
Oh, that Castro, he got tricks.
And and
Wait. So it was Castro who pulled. Go into tell it what. How did he? How did he? How did he get? How did he get us? How
so
did he troll us?
so honestly, it doesn't really go into detail. Basically, what I would say, if you want to base it off a realistic standpoint, the intelligence of the CIA, because everything back then in the Cold War comes from the CIA, and you would say that it was off, like off base even by the smallest detail, because Castro sided with the Soviets at that
Mm-hmm.
time, realistically. So and when you fail in capturing the double, you're supposed to escape with your allies, but you stay behind to make sure that your allies escape. So you end up getting captured by Castro, and he surrenders you to the Soviets with Dragovich and Kravchenko. Um, and you are taken to a prison camp called Vorkuta, where Reznov is also being held, and that's where this story actually collaborates. So throughout the Black Ops story, well, Black Ops 1, you are developing the story on how you. I'm sorry.
No, you're
You,
fine.
your finger went out, so I'm thinking.
Like Black Ops, what?
Black Ops 1.
I'm messing with you. Come on, go.
Okay, so you're as Alex Mason, you're developing the story on how to stop the Nova Six strike by Dragovich and Kravchenko and Steiner, um, based off a number system, a broadcast, and basically how that works was that when you were captured in Center Vorkuta, um, I'm sorry, I should also mention that you find all of this out at the very end. So all of the whole game is a massive build up until, oh wow, it actually never happened. So now this is the truth. So what happens was in Vorkuta, you are brainwashed as Mason with the number system, and you were actually brainwashed to kill your own president to make the Nova Six strike easier to commence. But what really happened was that you met Reznov in Vorkuta, and he brainwashed you again by sabotaging the original brainwashing system, where instead of killing your president, you had to kill the three main villains of the game.
Brainwash to brainwash.
Exactly. And so the story builds um, to escape from Vorkuta, of course, with Reznov, and eventually you do, but Reznov doesn't. And you're finding your way through amazing missions, Vietnam, the KSOG, and all of those missions. And um, there is not until a certain point where, um, in this very specific mission, that the brainwashing actually kicks in, because the you are sent in to find a Russian defector who's betrayed the Soviets and wants to give you information. But it's when you find out it's Reznov who actually escapes from Vorkuta and gives you the information. Now here's the twist: Reznov was never there.
That's a showman right there.
Exactly. This is where the brainwashing kicks in. You actually see Reznov throughout the rest of the game, where you see him as this Russian defector, but he's never there. That's just in your mind. That seeing Reznov is part of the brainwashing. So make sure that you don't go off track on killing the villains in the game. And that go ahead and progresses through. But
what happened? What happened?
To Reznov, he died in Vorkuta during the escape.
Okay.
So yeah. However, as Alex Mason, you have to kill the villains, but as Jason Hudson, the other character that you have to play in Black Ops, of course, is only for 2, maybe 3 missions. You have to gather information, stop the strike, and capture the villains alive. So technically, you have to play both sides of one coin. So one side you have to kill them, but another side you have to keep them alive. But it's leaning.
What?
Yeah, I know. I'm not making any sense.
That sounds quite impossible. How does he do it?
I'm going to continue. So, as so in a specific mission where the brainwashing gets worse, apparently you see your friend Frank Woods kill off one of the villains named Kravchenko. Now, of course, this goes further into Black Ops 2, which we'll get into later. Um, of course, you see Kravchenko die, and Reznov is still there. Um, there is a specific mission where Mason and Hudson's story come into the same mission. Um, so there, you're playing as Mason for the first part of this mission. You have to find and kill Steiner on a Russian island called Rebirth Island, and just fight your way through some Soviets and kill him. But you, in Hudson's mission, you have to capture Steiner so he can translate the numbers to stop the Nova 6 strike. And as you play through the missions, you succeed in killing Steiner, but as Mason, but as Hudson, you actually see him die, which is something that's not supposed to happen.
Like another twist.
Exactly. This is where the other twist comes in. You see, as Mason, you see Reznov kill Steiner, but as Jason Hudson, you see Mason kill Steiner.
Damn.
So that's where you see that it's all brainwash.
Scrub a dub.
Exactly. So, and basically all of those missions are pretty much flashbacks of torture and interrogation by the CIA so you can translate the numbers as Mason. And eventually Hudson goes ahead and gives you a good punch in the face and breaks the brainwash.
Karate chop.
Exactly. And Hudson breaks the brainwash on Mason, and Mason discovers the truth that he has been brainwashed by Dragovich and then Reznov, so he can go ahead and where they lead to the same goal to stopping the Nova 6 strike, but they have different ambitions. Um, and then, of course, the last mission is where you find and kill the last operative, Dragovich, and stop the broadcast system, which is in an undersea base. Um, and you fight your way, destroy the base, kill Steiner, and you win victory for the Americans. So, and that's
Very nice. Very nice.
yeah, it's a complicated story. If you don't understand all the brainwashing for Black Ops 1, but that's pretty much how it works.